All right, the webinar has started in the pre-session mode. If you're in the audience, thanks. And the action will begin soon. But Jen, you have something you want to share with people.
Yeah, I see all those numbers ticking up in the participants. So, welcome everybody. As you're coming in, we have a quick question for you to fill out. It's easy. You just go to menti.com and fill in the code that's at the top. Let us know what you're most excited about based on what you've seen or heard about the new system so far. So, we're here to talk about the Quantum HCM project with the new system coming in spring 2025. So, let us know what you've heard and what you're most excited about. And we will get started right at 1 p.m. Welcome in, everybody. The number's still going up. As you're coming in, welcome to the QHCM Project Town Hall. This is our second one. If you want to go ahead and tell us at menti.com using the code at the top of the screen that you see what you're most excited about for this new system coming your way in spring 2025. You might have heard about it or what you've learned so far. Tell us what you're most excited about. And I see one submission already about seeing absence balances and even projected balances. That's awesome.
I guess I don't have to remind everyone that spring 2025 is right around the corner.
No, Alex, you don't have to
I
remind.
know you know that, but for people watching, I mean, this is part of your very near future.
Yes. Oh, onboarding journeys, awesome.
Hmm.
Hiring journey being in one system. Yep, that'll be a big one for those of you that have your hands on the hiring process. Setting up and making multiple changes in one pay period and then seeing those changes the next business day. That'll be huge for you guys. I love seeing these numbers tick up quickly. We're already at almost 150. So as you're coming in, if you have a quick second before we get started at 1 p.m. to tell us what you're most excited about based off what you've seen and learned about the new system coming in spring of 2025. It is the QHCM project. And so we're excited that you're here to learn more about it. Let us know what you've heard and what you're most excited about. New technology, definitely. It's supposed to be.
I should remind everyone, if you have questions, please write them in the Q&A area.
It's 1 p.m. on the dot. I'm going to go ahead and take this Menti question down, but we're doing with paper leave request forms and no more timesheets for exempt employees. Those are both really great benefits that are coming your way. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and get ready to share our other screen. So give me 1 second. I'll kick us off.
We good, Jen?
Yep, we're all good.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to the second Quantum HCM Town Hall. today we have a very exciting agenda for all of you, with a ton of demos and a lot of exciting stuff to see. I would just like to first introduce a couple of our team members today, including myself first. So my name is Chiradip Mukherjee. I am the functional project director on this project. I have with me here Stacy Long, who's the technical project director on this project. You will you will also be hearing soon from our sponsors who are here with us, Dr. Don Rhodes, Dr. Peter Murray, and Scott Bittner. We also have our project advisors with us here today, Diane Farineta and Michael Brown. And we also have our implementation partners, Huron, with us. So welcome everybody on behalf of everyone, and let's start this exciting journey today. So just some things to take care of before we jump into the core materials for today. Like Alex mentioned earlier, that any questions you can submit using this QR code. And we have the panelists, which is a group of all the project team leads today, who will be looking at these questions. We will be able to look at these and answer these towards the end of the program, as soon as we are done with all the slides and the demo. And you will also see these QR codes on the top right-hand corner of the slides for each of those slides. So if you miss this slide, don't panic, don't worry. You will still be able to get the QR code in all the other slides. So for today's agenda, we have highlights from our project sponsors who will be speaking to you in a short while. We will be going through some demos relating to recruitment in Quantum, onboarding, Quantum HR and payroll employee self-service task, and we'll be looking at some exciting new stuff in the system. Next slide, Jim. Thank you. Before I hand it over to Dr. Don Rhodes, just a quick update on the project timeline. Like we've shared with you in various other forums. The project started in July of 2023, and we are currently in the testing phase of the project. Recently completed parallel payroll test and integration testing cycles as we move towards our next integration testing cycle in a couple of weeks from now. So we have completed successfully our conference room piloting session. Those are the three. That's the circle that you see, CRP 1, 2, and 3. And we are well along on the testing side. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Rhodes.
Good afternoon. Before I begin, on behalf of the entire QHCM project team, we want to take a moment to say thank you for being here today. One of our project's guiding principles is to seek and be engaged the user community throughout the project. By being here today, you are contributing to keeping our project team aligned and focused on staying true to this guiding principle. But this town hall is just one of many ways you have and will continue to help us seek and engage the user community. We encourage you to continue to join us at project events such as this one and help maintain the collaboration we've experienced thus far. Just to call out a few statistics about how UMB collaboration is happening on this project, we have 170 change champions who represent all schools and departments on campus that attend monthly meetings and share information about the project with the departments and leadership regularly. So their communication goes both ways. We have 70 subject matter experts who participate in testing sessions and other specific project activities and provide feedback and insight into unique area needs and intricacies of business processes to the project team. Over 30 participants in the Human Capital Management Council Leadership Group that provide valuable input into decision-making efforts and identify downstream impacts given their extensive knowledge of HR and payroll here at UMB. Over 700 UMB employees who engage in various campus meetings and communications throughout the month, such as HR partners, payroll reps, RAC, department meetings, town hall, community-wide communications, and more. And finally, you should know that we have dedicated 61 project team members working day in and day out on creating this new system for you. Regularly engaging in QHCM project activities will continue to grow the partnership between all of these groups and better prepare you for the challenges that are going, for the changes, not challenges, the changes that are going to impact you. I encourage you, no, I'm giving you a homework assignment. You should continue or start providing your feedback as you learn more about the systems. Your thoughts are invaluable to our project team, and we want to hear from you. Next slide. Over the past year, your work as change champions, subject matter experts, town hall attendees, testing participants, or feedback providers has helped us build a system that meets our project goals and addresses what we've heard is most important to you as an employee and future user. There are areas that we continue to work on in conjunction with our partners, Oracle and Huron, to improve, but overall, we're excited, we're happy, and we can't wait to roll out our new Quantum HCM system. As a project sponsor and an advocate for service excellence, one of my top priorities has been to ensure that all UMB employees, that's you, have positive, cohesive, and impactful experiences from the process to hire you into UMB until you retire. Today, our project team will show exciting demonstrations of the new system so you can see all you will experience as a user. I'm particularly excited for you to see the Opportunity Marketplace and My Activity Center, which we believe will enhance your experience and make activities easier to complete. The Opportunity Marketplace will give you easy access to view and apply for jobs at UMB and track your application throughout the process. Filling out applications for jobs on campus will be easier with auto-populated information from Quantum. My Activity Center will save you time and effort when updating personal information like your address, phone number, and name. When I moved and had to change my address, it took me a little bit of digging to find out exactly where I needed to make that change. You'll also be able to see your department structure and connect with colleagues across campus with ease. You'll get more details about these features in a few minutes, but I wanted to highlight these two demonstrations coming your way as two of the many ways we believe this new system will enhance your experience as a UMB employee. As we forge full steam ahead toward the system go live in spring 2025, which is just a short time away, please continue to attend any and all Quantum Project learning opportunities like this town hall, campus meetings, user fairs, etc. We value your partnership and want to continue this great momentum we've built together as a community. I'll hand it over to Dr. Murray to share more with you. Thank you.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Dawn. One of the most exciting aspects of this HCM system, in my opinion, is the introduction of artificial intelligence. AI is built into this system that will make a positive influence on the user experience. It will help in completing tasks, getting access to needed information faster and easier, and provide guidance and assistance in performing your job. The two features that we're really excited about introducing to you are Oracle Guided Learning and Oracle Digital Assistant. With Oracle Guided Learning, you'll get a step-by-step guidance when completing tasks, along with helpful tips and links to resources that will make completing tasks even easier. The need to search through large file folders with how-to guides or to call someone for help will be greatly diminished. The guidance you need will be right there in the system, in the exact location of the task you will be completing. If you've ever used Amazon's Alexa, Apple's Siri, or even Bank of America's Erica, You've seen what an in-system AI tool with advanced capabilities can do to answer your questions in real time without talking to a customer service representative. Oracle Digital Assistant is an artificial intelligence tool that will answer questions like, how do I request time off? By taking you directly to the absence request page in the system, so you don't have to spend a lot of time searching for that answer in multiple locations. Now, it's also important to note that this system is device friendly. You will be able to access it at any time from anywhere that you have an internet connection and be able to complete tasks on mobile phones, tablets, iPads, and other computing devices. It will offer flexible formatting and a modern user interface and experience that is consistent with other contemporary consumer and business technologies. During today's demonstrations, you will get to see how these AI tools work and how easy they are to use. Next slide, please. In today's presentation, I want to share with you the new names of both AI tools. We had some fun a couple of months ago when the HCM project team, subject matter experts, and change champions from across schools and departments participated in a contest to name these tools. And I would like to thank all of you who submitted suggestions. There were some really great entries, but we could only choose 2 winning names. So before we jump in and see how these tools work in the demonstrations, I'm going to share with you the winning selections. And they are, next slide. The Oracle Digital Assistant will be named Sarah, which is a reference to the Saratoga building located on Saratoga Street here on the UMB campus. So when you get access to the HCM system and you have a question, just ask Sarah. The Oracle Guided Learning AI tool will be called Lexi, which is a reference to the Lexington building here on campus, as well as Lexington Street and Lexington Market, both staples of Baltimore, as you know. And Lexi will be your guidance and support tool that is in this new HCM system. Before I finish my remarks, I want to also comment and reiterate what Dawn said. I want to thank you again for your input, your feedback, and collective spirit during the course of this project. This really has been a community-wide project, and we are very grateful to you for your contributions. We are looking forward to continuing the positive progress being made with the project and leveraging the power of a university-wide effort to deliver a contemporary human capital management system for UMB in spring 2025. Now I will hand it over to Scott to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you everyone for attending. I see we're up to 527. That is great. I'm glad everyone's showing this level of interest in the project. So to get started here, if you flip the slide, please. Thank you. So along with the exciting features to make the most of your time as an employee here at UMB that Dr. Rhodes and Dr. Murray just mentioned, the new quantum system will minimize the manual tasks you complete every day to help improve transparency about where and with whom your processes currently stand, help you better understand how to keep them moving forward, and to ensure on-time completions. When the new system goes live in the spring of 2025, tracking things like new hire onboarding task, how much leave balance you have available to use, where approvals and processes stand when you submit time worked, or request an update to your personal information will be easy, and include real-time statuses to keep you and others responsible up to date and transparent visibility about where all activities are along in the process to ensure tasks are completed on time. Multiple step processes will see a reduction in your manual workload and minimize the risk for human error through the automation of workflows to ensure everything moves forward onto the correct person who can complete each step along the way. Tasks will be easier to complete with the in-system support from Sarah, as Dr. Murray said, the Oracle's digital assistant, and Lexi, the Oracle's guided learning. To help with hangups employees may encounter along the way, to direct you to resources, and to provide contact recommendations that you can use to get help quickly. Next slide, please. You will see how your manual workload will be reduced and transparency will be increased in today's in-system demonstrations of the brand new onboarding journey for new hires that kicks off a task list or for them to complete on their own before they even come to UMB on the first day of orientation. Requesting an absence and reviewing your leave balances. Non-exempt hourly and salaried employees submitting time cards, which we currently refer to as timesheets. So hopefully this is some excitement floating around in our virtual space here. So now I will turn it over to Juliet Dickerson.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Dr. Rhodes. Thank you, Dr. Murray. I just want to very quickly thank our executive team for being so deeply committed and engaged and supportive of this undertaking. Without them, we wouldn't be near where we are along our project line. And with that, I would like to introduce the Opportunity Marketplace. And this is a new feature that, quite frankly, is only available because we are moving into a fully integrated system. And what it is the ability for an internal employee to take advantage when they are interested in applying for opportunities on campus of information that we've already captured in the quantum system. And so the Opportunity Marketplace is the space where, as an internal employee, you will look for new job opportunities. You will apply for jobs through the Opportunity Marketplace. And as I mentioned, being in a fully integrated system, each employee will have their own talent profile that they can personally manage and will allow them to use that information when they're applying for jobs. So right now, as lots of people know, we use Taleo as our applicant tracking system. All of our faculty and staff positions are posted on there. And you go through one link, whether you're internal or external. But in the Opportunity Marketplace, you'll be able to access this space within the system. And what we are going to do next is I'm going to turn it over to Cassandra Nesmith, who's going to walk you through what a job posting will look like from the vantage point of the Opportunity Marketplace.
Thank you, Juliet, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start off logged in as the employee, Selena Gomez. I'm going to navigate to the Me tab here, and I'm going to select the Opportunity Marketplace tile.
And while she's pulling that up, this system, one of the things that we love about the visuals is that you'll see lots of tiles and it's very easy sort of to navigate. It's built from a very intuitive perspective, from a user's perspective.
Okay. So as Julia and Dawn mentioned, the marketplace is where employees can explore and apply for open positions. On this page, you're going to find all of the available requisitions. You can also use various filters to tailor the list of preferences. In this example, we are going to look at some of the filters that you can choose from. So here are some of the filters. We also offer additional filters that will actually help with narrowing your preferences. There are many that you can choose from here. In this example, we're going to take a closer look at the Community Outreach Coordinator position. I'm going to click here. And in this section, looking at the requisition, candidates can learn more about the role, including details such as the expected salary, key responsibilities, qualifications, and more. Scrolling up, something that I would love to point out is the fact that internals will have more information about the hiring team in the contact section. So in this case, you'll see the recruiter and the hiring manager. Finally, I would like to highlight the actions button, which is something I'm really excited about. It allows you to mark a job as favorite, share the job, copy the link, or refer an employee or a candidate. And once you've decided to apply, you'll simply click the apply button, and that will give you additional options to apply for the opportunity using your resume or the information that's provided on your talent profile. So with that, that wraps up the tour of the Opportunity Marketplace. I'm going to now hand it back over to Juliet.
Thank you, Kath. And so we are, as mentioned, super excited about these new features that we have the ability to take advantage of moving into a fully integrated system. And the next feature was mentioned, journeys, and this is really exciting. And we see, the other thing I'll mention real quickly about the system is this will be a living, breathing system that we will have the benefit of the newest and the greatest technology as it gets released. And so the features that we will go live with, we will continue to improve. We will continue to solicit your feedback. This is an ongoing process. And journeys are simply the ability to put functions in a very organized collection of tasks that make it easy for an employee, a soon-to-be employee, know exactly what they need to do to complete a task. And so right now, as many of you know, being employees, it can be challenging to find the right form, the right web page. Is it on the HR page, the main page, policy page, procedure page? And then what do I do? How do I complete what I'm trying to do? And so a journey simply gathers all of the steps that are needed for you to complete what you're trying to do in a very organized fashion and in a way that's easy to follow. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carla Evans, who's going to walk us through an onboarding journey.
Thank you, Juliet. Let's see. All right, thank you. So we're gonna navigate to Selena's onboarding journey. So we'll start at the Me tab here and go to the Journeys tile. And in this responsive environment, you can review new hire information. All of the information that a new hire will receive in the welcome letter it all lives in one space here in the Before Your First Day onboarding tabs. The employees as well as the line manager can track which tasks have been completed here in the tracker. That shows we have 0 of 13 to complete. And I also love that it has a nice welcome introduction for the employee with their name here. To start with our task, we're going to review the Welcome to the University of Maryland, Baltimore. There is a video for the new hire to review that details our campus. And once the video has been reviewed, we can select Done here. By selecting Done, you'll get a green check mark. And that will appear here. And it'll also show that that task has been completed. Another set task that I would like to show is to confirm personal information. Here, you'll be able to view your personal details. There we go. So it just shows you how your name is in the system, your demographic information, which can make updates to certain ones here by selecting the edit button. You'll also be able to review your national identifier, disability information, and make additions and changes and updates there as well. Once this task is completed, we'll select Done. And another one we'll look at here is your emergency contact information. It's important to keep this up to date, and you're able to do so from the system here. As an existing employee, you'll be able to go in and update your emergency contacts in the system as well. This is where you would select the add button. You can either create a new contact or you can select a coworker as a contact. If you select a coworker, you'll have to go through an approval for that. Well, they'll be notified that you selected them for that task. Here, you'll enter in information about the contact, such as their relationship to you, their name, email, phone, address. And when you're done here, you'll select the submit button. And once this task is completed, you're able to select done, and you can see that our tracker is moving as you continue to navigate the task. I also want to point out that there's a contact information section here if you need help with a task, that you can find the information of who you can reference for assistance. And that'll be all for this demonstration, and I'll turn it back over to Juliet.
Okay, thank you, Carla. And so hopefully what you're seeing is this very modernized experience for the employee. If you just wait right there on that screen, Carla. Really a lot of thought has been given into how the system appears and the ease of use for you all as our employee base. This home screen will literally become your best friend. It's got all the information. It's your gateway to the system, depending on what your security access is. So my tiles may look different than your tiles, depending on what my security access is and what I have, what I actually have access to. Also, if you have a role in financial, you'll have a one-stop shop, because again, we're moving into a fully integrated system, and the benefit of that is streamlining the paths of communication and how you access the information. The little bell at the top will also be of great usage, especially if you're in workflows, because that's where you'll easily be able to see what's waiting for me. If I had an employee who requested an absence and I need to get in there and approve it, there are several ways to get to different information, and then there's lots of shortcuts, and the bell is a shortcut for folks who are in the workflow. The other thing that I just wanted to highlight about the onboarding journey, and then we're going to show you the activity center, is you may have noticed that there was a task for uploading your one card. There was a task for parking. And I just want to say to Dr. Rhodes' spirit of collaboration, we've been working with campus partners throughout the build of this system to try to integrate as much as we can our processes, even if they're not HCM processes. But again, the goal is to try to make the user experience as streamlined as possible. And so our campus partners have been great in helping us get their information in, build the tasks, and incorporate as much as we could into the system. The next screen that we're going to look at, or section that we're going to look at, is one of my actual favorites of the system. It's called My Activity Center. And I would think of it as a one-stop shop, if you will, for your information. And so, again, right now, it can be hard to find information that pertains to you, even if you can find it at all. But in the Activity Center, this is organized around the data that we know is very important to employees. And so you can see, if you kind of look at the screen from left to right, the name, the job title, what area of the campus they work in. You can upload a picture. You can see salary information very clearly at the top. Annual leave, sick leave, how many hours are in the buckets, what the next leaves are that have been approved. If you want to actually go see your absence balance, you see the tiles below there, or if you need to add a time card, you can go here to add your time card. all of the contact information that pertains to you. There's all kinds of information that will be very useful. Your learning opportunities, if you have any outstanding, like Title IX that you need to take, that sort of thing, you'll be able to access from this page. And so for Selena, the middle tile, as you can see, is about before your first day onboarding task, because that's what Selena's working on. And so Selena would be able to click in here if she hadn't completed all of her tasks and finish her task. And then the last thing I'll highlight about this particular section is the system is built on a line manager platform, meaning that every employee has a designated line manager. It's a new terminology for us, but why it drives so much in the system and why it's so critical is it allows us to access information in a way that we don't currently have. So for instance, an org chart. So Selena reports to Glenda, and if you click on the org chart, automatically, because every employee will have a line manager in the system, Selena can see that she reports to Glenda. And then if we click on Glenda, the org chart goes up the line. So Selena can see, okay, so I report to Glenda, and then these are my peers in the tiles. And then Glenda reports to Charity. Okay, so now as a new employee in particular, it can be so hard on a large campus like ours to really understand where I personally fit in the organization. But if I keep going up in the org chart, oh, okay, so Charity reports to Scott Bittner. Okay, and now I can see Cheerdeep's peers who also report to Scott. I can see, now I can see Scott reports to Dr. Rhodes. And so, and this goes all the way up to President Gerald. And so we really love this feature, again, especially for new employees, because it can be so hard to understand how and where you fit in an organization. Okay, thank you, Carla, very much. And we are going to, that ends the presentation on the Activity Center. We're going to now turn it over to Liz Escobar, who is going to do demonstrate how to manage absences.
Thanks, Juliet. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my screen here. Excellent. Okay, so as Dr. Murray mentioned earlier during the presentation, he talked about Sarah.
Pardon me,
So
Liz, we're not seeing your screen.
not sharing.
There we go. There you go.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, great. As Dr. Murray mentioned earlier, he talked about Sarah. So I am going to ask, as a new employee, I want to know how many hours do I have of annual leave to take if I'm requesting time off? So I'm going to click on Sarah and I'm going to request how many hours of annual leave do I have available? And so Sarah's thinking there. And there it is. So Sarah, so as of 10/1, I have 16 hours of personal leave. I have 80 hours of annual leave and have 72 hours of sick leave. So right here from this screen, I can go ahead and schedule my time off. So I will click on schedule time off. Okay. And here you will see a list of all of the absence type. So I'm going to request annual leave. And I'm going to select my business title as an office assistant. And I'm going to request time off from, let's see, I'm going to request time off from September 26th and the 27th. So I enter the dates, and the duration automatically populates based on my schedule. Okay. And I'm just to show, I'm going to calculate how many hours I have left. I have 64 hours left of annual leave, and I'm going to go ahead and submit. So it's thinking. So that my absence has been submitted, and it's going to go to Glenda as my manager for her to approve. So while the workflow is going through, you have several options on how to submit an absence, and I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to go back home, so I'm going to click on the home button right there. And again, I'm going to navigate to the Me tab, and then I'm going to click on Time and Absence. And here, as you can see, I can request an app. Here you can see I can check my balance. Again, showing what, so, Sarah had mentioned. And I can also select request add an absence from this screen. If I go back, I can also see existing absences. So I can see what's pending, what has been, approved, what I've withdrawn. So as you can see, the absence that I've submitted, it's waiting for approval. Okay. I can go back. And also from the same screen, I can submit my time card. Okay, and again, I can add my absence from here as well. Okay, so I'm going to send it over to Glenda so she can go ahead and approve my absence, and then you can see that process. How do I stop sharing? Stop sharing. There you go.
Thank you, Liz. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Glenda Beige Randall, and I joined the QHCM project team as a functional lead for payroll, absence, and time and labor. So I'm going to continue a little bit of the presentation that Liz started with Selena submitting the absence. So I'm going to act as Selena's line manager, and I'm going to approve the absence that she requested. So let me start sharing my screen real quick. And if you guys can make sure, am I sharing? Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna sign in as myself as the line manager. Oops. Okay. And as a line manager for absences, that's something that it's a little bit different compared to what we have in PeopleSoft. In PeopleSoft, absence are part of the time card approval, right? You request your absence or do you report your absences in the time card. The absences in Oracle Cloud are going to be a little bit different. They are going to be reported on their own individual module besides the time card. And the approval, unlike in PeopleSoft that we require 2 levels of approval, the absences in QHCM are going to just require 1 level of approval, which is the line manager or the line manager. So as the line manager, as Juliet was mentioning in her presentation before, this bell, it's going to be our best friend. There's multiple ways to get to your approvals, but the easiest way and the more like in our faces is going to be the bell. So if I click on the bell, I'm going to see that there's an action required. If I click load more items, I'm going to see everything that has a pending approval on my end. But in here, I know that there's an approval of annual leave requested for Selena Gomez. So if I click into it, I can actually see the details of the absence. I can see the type of absence, the duration. So I see that Selena requested 16 hours of annual leave, and the hours were assigned to me. So I can just go ahead and approve and reject. In both scenarios, the employee should be able to get a notification. And Liz, I don't know if we're going to show the notifications this time. And then I can go ahead and approve it. Then click submit. And then a notification, a bell, it's going to be sent to the employee and also an email notifying the employee that the absence have been approved. So that's a really nice feature that we're going to be able to obtain when we go live with the absence management. Liz, do you want to show the notification or is...
It's still going through the workflow, Glenn. I haven't gotten the email
Okay.
yet.
Okay, so continue with the presentation. So what would be the next thing on the regular non-exempt employee? It will be submitting a time card, right? So as a non-exempt employee, we're still required to submit a biweekly time card. Our friend ODA, Sarah, she currently doesn't have capabilities or the time card functionality. That's a feature that we're hoping in the future we're going to be able to obtain. But we're going to have Lexi. Lexi is going to be there with OGL, and we're going to have maybe a smart tips. We're going to have some videos, some timesheets tutorials to help new employees and existing employees on how to complete a time card. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm just going to go through the regular route. As everybody was been mentioning in their presentations, every employee is going to have different tiles. These tiles are based on your roles, based on your security, but every employee, non-exempt employee, will have the time and absence tile. So this tile is going to take you to the two places. One, to submit absences, like Liz was explaining. The other one is how to complete a time card, not how to complete, but where to submit my time card. So I'm going to go into add a time card. Oh, sorry, I'm still logged as myself. So as an exempt employee, I'm not required to complete a time card. So that's why I'm getting that error message. So that's good, a good test. So I'm going to sign out and I'm going to log in at Selena Gomez. So I'm going to log as the employee. I'm going to go into the Me tile and I'm going to my time and absences tile. Then I'm going to click into add a time card. And a nice feature that we're going to have, and I was mentioning before, that the absences are not reported in the time card as we have it in PeopleSoft. The absences are reported via the absence tile. But when a non-exempt reports an absence, those absences are going to flow into the employee's time card. So when I'm completing the time card, I'm going to be able to see the days that I reported the absence. So that case, if I'm having issues overlapping and that day I actually didn't report to work but use the absence, so that's going to be easy for the employee to navigate when the absence is flowing to the time card. So as a new employee, I was hired September 24th. So I'm going to be completing the timesheet for the time card for pay period 1005. So the way that it's going to be done, it's in the time card period. I have to click on the calendar. This is something that it's going to be different from PeopleSoft. In PeopleSoft, we have a drop down with the pay periods, right? In QHCM, we're going to have to select at least one day that falls within the pay period that I am completing. So I'm going to be completing for the time card for pay period 1005. So I'm going to click 1005 and the system is smart enough, or it's going to be able to take me to the correct pay period that I'm submitting the time card. So I'm going to click add to submit my time card. And remember, I was telling you how the absences flow into the time card, so you can see it in here. And they are grayed out. They are grayed out. It's because if I need to withdraw an absence, modify any absence submitted, I will have to go into the absence module to do those changes. I cannot do it directly into the time card. So that's why these fields are grayed out. And if you scroll down, you're going to see that on Thursday, September 26th, Selena requested, I submitted an annual request of leave and personal leave on Friday, the 27th. So all of the absences that are submitted for the pay period are going to be reflected into the time card. So the most important thing when completing a time card is the assignment number. The assignment number is required in order for you to open the time reported codes and to be able to enter all of the information required for the time card. And what is the assignment number, you might be asking? So the assignment number is nothing but your employee ID. It's your employee ID accompanied by the employee record. The employee record, it's going to be for those concurrent employees, an employee that works in multiple departments. So that's the record that I'm referencing to. If you only have employee under one department and one job, you're only going to have one assignment number. If you have multiple assignment number of job records, as we know them in PeopleSoft, you're going to be able to see them when you select this dropdown. So in this case, Selena, she works only for one department. So the time reported codes, what are the time reported codes? So my time reported codes are going to be all of those when I need to report hours worked. So it will be my regular in and out time, my break, my on-call hours, shift differential, all of those time reported codes that represent worked hours are going to be listed in this under the time reported code drop-down menu. Again, these time reported codes are going to be tailored to your employee class, to your pay group, and so on. So you're going to only be seeing the time reported codes that pertain to your job code and your employee class. So in here, I'm going to report just my regular in and out time. So I'm going to select RGS non-exempt hours. And then I'm going to start completing the time card. I see that the time card started on Tuesday, September 24th, when we usually do it on a Sunday. Why is the reason? It's because this employee was hired September 24th. So the time card is starting as of that day. So in here, I'm going to put my in and out time. Down a little bit. Okay. For some reason, it's the start in here is grayed out. Apologize for that. Let's see if in this field, the in, it's a little off, but let's do this. Let's do 8 a.m. And when you are completing the time card as an employee, you don't have to put the exact format for the system to recognize it. You can put, as you could see, I was putting 4:30, 4:30, and the system will pre-fill it. If I want to do 8 a.m., the system will pre-fill it. So that's going to be something nice, that it's not going to be just predefined to just a particular format of in and out times. 4:30 p.m. So that's for week 1. Then I'm going to change this and I'm going to report my break time. We are required to put the break time. So I'm going to specify the break. It's going to be in quantity. 0.5 hours. So you're going to see the total of hours reported. So you're going to see the total of absences, the total of in and out time, and the total of breaks. And then what are the actions? You can save the time card. You can save and close if you want to submit it at a later time, or if you're completing day by day or week by week. So and then also you can print the time card. So I'm going to submit it for approval. This one, quantity. There you go. And the time card has been submitted. Time cards, as we have them in PeopleSoft, are going to have 2 levels of approval in Quantum HCM. We're going to have the line manager, which is the first level of approval, and the line manager. And then the second level of approval is going to be the central payroll rep in your department. Again, the absences are going to have 1 level of approval, and the time cards are going to have the 2 level of approval. So now as an employee, I submit the time card. So I want to see if it flow into the line manager workflow for approval. So I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to log in as myself because I'm listed as the employee's line manager. And it might take a little time because it's a workflow for approval. So if it doesn't show in the bill, we just need to wait a little bit. Let me refresh the screen. There you go. So now I have the approval of payroll time entries for Selena Gomez for the pay period of 9/24 to 10/05. So I'm going to click in it. And again, once I approve the time card, the employee will receive a notification that the time card has been approved. Then I'm going to have the options to approve or reject. If we reject, we're allowed to enter comments of why we are rejecting the time card. And I'm going to go ahead. If you see in here, you're going to see the details, the same details that Selena entered in her time cards, her in and out times, break, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and approve the time card. And that's the final step for the life of this employee during this presentation. Submitting the time card was the last step that we have for today. More details about how to complete this task that we discussed today will be provided through detailed training opportunities that will be available for all employees as we get closer to our go live in the spring of 2025. So for now, I think I'm going to pass it to Chiradeep or Stacy for some final updates. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Glenda. That was very helpful. Just wanted to thank all the presenters today for coming in, giving you a preview of what's to come with the new system. And now we're going to open it up for question and answers. We have a team that's going to be reviewing the submitted questions. You can continue to submit using the QR code, and then our panelists will respond.
Thanks, Stacy. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Retzloff. I am with the Huron team partnering with UMB. So excited to get into some of your questions. I'm going to start with the questions in Slido. I see there's also quite a few coming through the QA. So once we get through the Slido questions, we'll move on over to the QA and answer those live. So starting with the first one, I'm curious about who is providing the technical training. If it sits, how does that impact their ability to offer other trainings like Office 365 and SharePoint? So I'm going to turn this one over to Laura and Raphael.
Hey everyone, Raphael here. So to answer that question, the QHCM project team will be providing the technical training for the project. So this should not be affecting any other types of training, sort of like the Office 365 or anything else, any other types of training that are happening throughout the campus. And training will be accessed through Precipio, very similar as it is done today. So looking forward to providing more information on training in the next couple months. Thank you.
Thanks, Raphael. So there are quite a few absence questions. I'm going to start with some of the others so then we can keep the absence questions together. So this first one, AI tools are known to produce inaccurate information. What processes and procedures will be in place for employees when we catch errors? Chiradeep or Stacy, can I hand this one to you?
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You want to go, Chiradeep?
Sure, I can. I mean, like I'm sure all of you have heard that AI is still a very new technology and it's being developed, and Oracle is no different to understanding that there sometimes could be information that is out there which is not exactly relevant, and whenever they encounter something, they make it very clear that you could submit it to them. But I think there is a procedure in place for highlighting any such information that comes out, or you find something that is not relevant or incorrect. You should be able to submit that back. So the answer is yes.
And behind the scenes, if I can just add on, we have processes that we're developing to review answers that are provided, and we'll be constantly checking the information that's being shared out to make sure it is accurate and up to date.
Yeah, and just to jump in, this is Peter Murray. You're right. AI tool is only as good as the data that's searching. But the data it will be searching is the data in the Oracle database. And this team has done extensive work to work on checking the integrity of the data in the system. And therefore, with the AI search tool, you should be getting accurate information. But of course, if you find anything that might be inaccurate that's in the HR database, then of course we'll make that change. But the team and Chiradeep and Stacy can talk more about this, have done extensive work to check the accuracy before converting it to the new system.
Yeah, I just want to add, this is Solomon Breto. I just want to add, just emphasize again what Shiradeep, Dr. Moray, and States pointed out. See, unlike other chat box, this chat box, Sarah, goes after the data or information that is stored in our Oracle database, our database, which pretty much before saving, it's validated. So it's not going to fetch the data from the external sources. So the data what we have within the UMB database is already validated. So I would suggest, I would say the confidence level on relying on the data returned by Sarah, I would give I rating. But if at all, if there's any issues with the data, we have tested the tool. So far, it's responded to correct with the correct information. But it's a constant process. We will continue to test and make sure it kind of fetches the correct data. But as of now, because the domain to look for data is within UMB, which is already validated and stored, the data it provides can be trusted.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, moving on. On the example Cash shared, it showed a job description. It did not have, or it had a salary, not a range. Will job descriptions have a range as they do now?
They can. It depends on the job. So that is not a static field, or it will depend on the job.
Awesome. Thanks, Juliet.
Sure.
Okay, a couple of questions related to journeys. So is it possible to create a journey for those who are hiring new employees to outline tasks needed to be completed before and after the new hire start date?
So what we shared, the demonstration that we shared today was the pre-hire onboarding journey. And so again, one of the benefits of being in a fully integrated system is that the applicant tracking part of the system will now be connected to the onboarding experience. And so when an applicant receives their job offer and accepts their job offer, that kicks off a process that will in turn send them the information to log into their pre-boarding journey. And the hiring manager for that position will be able to also see the progress of their new employee who's getting ready to start, where they are on their pre-boarding journey. Onboarding, as many of you know, there's a component, a large component that is pre-start to get you started. There's the day of when you arrive, and then there are tasks that get assigned that are not required for day one, but still need to get done, that are all part of the onboarding journey. So the short answer is yes. There is the ability to create journeys that walk the employee through every step they need to do, and then also allow the hiring manager to monitor the progress to completion.
Thanks, Juliet.
Sure.
So going off of that, can the department who hired an employee see where they are on a journey? Can we see if they completed all tasks?
Yes, yes, they will. They'll be able to see that tracker, the sort of 1 through 13 tracker, if you will, if they've completed 3 of the 13, that sort of thing. So they will have that information.
Okay, thank you. And then I think one last onboarding question for now. Are there any UMB policies included in onboarding? So I think asking if there are policies that need to be reviewed as a part of onboarding.
We have, I'm not sure I understand the question, but we have, as part of, I'll go big and then maybe if the person who asked the question is looking for something specific. Implementing this system has required us to review a lot of our policies and procedures. And so we have done extensive work with each of the areas that own different policies and procedures that touch the system. We continue to do that work as we speak. So again, I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but you can certainly reach out to me. If you have a very specific question that you would like to talk through, I'd be happy to do that.
Thanks, Juliet. And then one more for you, at least for now. Know that you have an exciting answer for this one. So will HCM include a time clock, the ability to clock in and clock out compensated hours?
Yeah, so we have a post go live list of tasks and requests that have already been asked for us to pursue. A project this big has to have a scope, a defined scope, or else you're just going to creep and keep adding things. But at the top of that list, post go live will be to explore a time clock system for the campus.
All right. Thanks, Juliet. So I'm going to move over to some of the absence related questions. I will admit there's quite a few, both in the Slido and on the QA. So we're going to try to combine what maybe is a little bit, has a bit of overlap. So we can start with this. Will we be required to enter absences for university holidays? Those currently pre-populate on timesheets. I'll hand this one to Liz and Glenda, either or.
Yes.
Yeah, so okay.
Oh,
No, go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
Yep, the answer is yes. You may, please keep me honest. You may elaborate more as to, the reason behind that. But the answer will be yes. You will have to enter the holiday hour as an absence.
Correct. Yes, we don't have that functionality as we have it right now, that when we create the time card, the holiday is pre-populated in the time card. We are looking into ways to possibly doing it, but as of right now, yeah, we don't have that functionality. So the employees will be required to report the holiday on the major holidays.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Glenda. Okay, so a couple questions on same day absences, either sick days, family emergencies, or retroactive absences. So how do we handle things that we aren't able to put in ahead of time?
So for the absences, you should be able to submit retroactive absences, future dated absences, and current absences. The system will be able to handle those scenarios. I'm not sure the question in particular, if that's what it is. If we can submit absence retroactively, yeah, we should be able to. And the system will be smart enough to check the balances as of the time of submission. So when you're requesting the absence, if let's say I forgot to submit an absence for a month ago, and then I submitted today, and a month ago I didn't have enough hours to cover the absence that I'm requesting, the system will be smart enough to say, you know what, Glenda, you don't have enough hours. You either have to submit other type of leave or you have to submit unpaid leave.
Thanks, Glenda. Going off of that, how will sick time be handled? Do requests need to be submitted in the system?
All absence requests need to be done within the system through QHCM, regardless of the type of leave. Some leaves, they are going to have a different type of approval because they request enrollment or they need pre-approvals in order for you to use it. But all of the absences requests are going to be done within the system. Whatever protocol happens within the departments, that is still continuous, right? But the request for all employees will be done within the system. In order to record the absence, you have to go through the absence module to request the absence. It's okay if there's employees that they just go directly to the line managers and request the absence. I have for the absence outside the system, but in order for it to be tracked and recorded, it needs to be submitted through the absence module.
Thanks, Glenda. A couple more coming for you. How can absences be adjusted if plans change? If it is already approved, how long do we have to adjust after the absence occurs? And then related to that, as an exempt employee, I often end up working parts of my vacation days. Can I change the approved leave time after I return to what I have actually used? So I think, let's say I requested 8 hours, but in reality only took off 4 hours.
But you can certainly do that, but it goes back to, what Glenda mentioned, right? The department's protocols still stand. You can certainly go in the system and you can withdraw the absence if you didn't take the time. And second, you can adjust the hours that you've taken. And it will go back to the approval process.
Thank you, Liz. Okay. Now that employees will need to enter their leave to get approvals through HCM, what are we going to do for those who don't add their leave?
Well, the system is only as good as the people using it, right? So that's a problem that we have in today's world, that people take leave and they don't report it in the time card. So we cannot solution everything, right, with a new system, because again, the system is as good as the people using it. So the absences, the fact that we are reporting the absences within the system, it's going to help alleviate that. It's gonna help employees that they don't have to go through, okay, let me send an email to request the absence. That way I can just go through the system and requesting the absence through the Oracle. And then that's my way of requesting the leave. So I think that will alleviate a little bit of the issue. But again, the system will not force an employee to submit the absence, right? That's why the line managers need to be helping us with this and held accountable, that if an employee of theirs submit an absence, they need to make sure that they are reporting it. But unfortunately, the system will not force the employees. An employee that doesn't want to submit the absence, if the line manager doesn't help us with that, it's going to be a little bit hard.
Thanks, Glenda. Okay, and then just one more related to absences for now. Can supervisors name someone to do leave request approvals for them?
Yes, so line managers and payroll reps can submit absence on behalf of the employee. And the approval portion, you can delegate somebody to do the approvals. Let's say I have 10 people under me and I don't want to be the person designated to approve the absence for my direct reports. I can delegate that. Or let's say I'm going out on a vacation for 2 weeks. I need to delegate somebody to make the approval of my time cards and the approval of my absences. So I can delegate somebody to do those approvals on my time off for a certain period of time, or for like as long as it's needed in certain departments, we can do that.
And just to chime in there, that'll be self-service, so any employee or any manager can set up those delegations according to how they need to be set up for themselves.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you both. Okay, and then there's a question in Slido, and then I think a couple in the QA related as well. How will non-exempts report their 2 15-minute breaks? Many combine with their lunch breaks to take a full hour.
Well,
So for the
currently 2 15 breaks are not, they're not recorded, right? Because those are paid breaks. So they will have to do it like Glenda was showing in the time card. They will have to do it at 30 minutes. Yeah. Non-exempt. Yeah, non-exempt.
Thank you, Liz. And sorry, I know I said one last one for leave for now, but getting into the QA, there's a couple more. If I'm submitting a future request for time off, but do not currently have enough reserve to cover the request, will I not be able to submit my request?
So this,
go
ahead, Liz.
The system will, I'm sorry, the system will only project what you have. So if you don't have enough leave to take, then you will not be able to take the full leave that you're trying. So let's say you only have 20 hours and you're trying to take 32. The system's going to error out that says you don't have enough leave to take during that period.
But what it will do then, so if you don't have the right balance at the time you want to take it, it won't let you. But for example, if you have 20 hours right now, but then in 3 months from now, you'll have 40 hours. If you want to take 30 hours in 4 months, the system is smart enough to know that at that time, you should have that balance so you can go in and request it. So it will kind of future scope for you what your balances will be. Okay. Just a couple more left in Slido, and then we can get to the Q&A in Zoom. Just curious, will the system also walk you through what should be done or what should be returned on your last day? Juliet, I think I'll throw this one to you.
Yeah, sure. So another exciting brand new feature that will be in the system is an offboarding journey, which is a complement to onboarding. And so in the system, a big change is that when employees terminate their employment with UMB, they're going to resign actually in the system. And that will, by resigning in the system, it will trigger other actions. And one of the actions that it'll trigger is an offboarding journey. And so just like a brand new employee gets assigned an onboarding journey, an employee who resigns in the system will be assigned an offboarding journey with a list of tasks that includes things like returning your equipment and how to hand in your parking and what to do with your one card and if you have an MTA pass. Again, we've worked with like a lot of our campus partners on this. The line manager will also be able to track an employee's offboarding journey to make sure that they've gotten everything done that they need to get done.
Thanks, Juliet. Okay, one more before we move to the Zoom Q&A. Will there be better visibility into employee transfers when they move from one department to another?
So I'm not sure what visibility means, but we actually have built a journey for when an employee transfers from one department to another, accepts another job. And it's really kind of like a modified offboarding journey, like what I just described, to make sure that they have closed out everything that they need to close out in their one assignment before they begin the new assignment. So if that's sort of what that question is getting at, again, if there's something specific that someone would like to discuss, please feel free to send me an email or reach out.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna
can I just throw one other thing in there? Allison, is this is huge, and I'm not sure why we haven't mentioned it yet, but one of the really key benefits of having all this in one system is that we're going to have reporting and analytics in a way that we just don't have right now. And so we'll be able to track things like turnover rates, retention rates, hiring, where are we getting our applicants from, those sorts of things. And all of that data can be really challenging when you're operating out of 6 or 7 different systems. But pulling all of that type of information into one system will allow us to have access to data and analytics in a way that we just really don't have right now.
Thank you, Juliet.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to get into the Zoom Q&A. We'll start with this question from Pam. Will this employee activity center page on My Learning and My Accomplishments take the place of the information we currently must insert on digital measures, or will we use both?
I'm not sure what digital measures are. I'm not sure if Kelly is on the call. So the information on the learning page will just be a bridge to Percipio. We're still going to be using Percipio the way we do now. We've done a lot of analysis and evaluation to ensure that the learning experience remains very similar to how it is right now, because it is so much work has been done to make it so much more user-friendly. So again, we can talk about what that means offline if you have some more detail, but that's what the plan is for learning with HCM.
Thanks, Juliet. Okay, a question from Kathy. What happens if you don't need a full day of leave? Can you edit the number of hours on a request?
Yes.
Thank you. So Kathy, number that pre-populates is based off of your schedule, but if, for example, you work 8 hours a day and only need to take 4 hours off, when you put that request in, you can just change that number to 4. Okay. Another question about leave. These two kind of go together, so we'll put them together. Will the system generate a departmental leave calendar to see at a glance who will be out? And is the system intelligent enough to know what coworkers are requesting the same day or days off?
Well, the system is not going to be intelligent to let you know who's off and who's not, but there is a team schedule in which you can see the entire team who's going to be off on what day. So that's available for you to view.
And also for the manager.
And also for the manager to view. Yeah.
Thanks, Liz. Okay. Another question about timesheets. We will no longer be using PeopleSoft for timesheets. Will we still use PowerTime and Planet to schedule? Glenda, can I turn that to you?
What is the second? Is that like an external source of time cards that departments are using? So that's not a requirement for UMB, right? The requirement for UMB is to complete out UMB time cards. So if your department requires the use of this external source, I guess it's up to the department whether to keep using it or not. But for UMB requirements, we have to complete the time card for UMB, and that's going to be the one that it's going to be delivered by QHCM.
Thanks, Glenda. Another one for you about time cards from April. Can you create several time cards at once?
Yes, you can. You can create time cards. You can save them and not withhold them for submission or submit it right away. So you can do future dated time cards. And you can also do corrected timesheets like previous time cards after they are due.
Thank you. And then this is a question from Jen. Jen, apologies, I'm not sure if this is in reference to entering time cards or entering absences, but we can answer for both. Will this apply to contingent employees such as postdoc fellows who are considered trainees? Will it also apply to graduate assistants who are students paid on a stipend?
So for postdocs, they are not going to complete time cards. They will report absences. So all employees eligible for leave benefit plans, they are going to require to submit absences within the system. But time cards are only going to be required for hourly employees, which are the student employees, 14s, 14Ws, 16, 16Ws, and 31s. And for regular non-exempts, including C2 non-exempts, contractual employees non-exempt. But all salaried employees, like exempt faculty employees, will no longer require to complete time cards, but they will submit absences.
GRAs, O4s will not submit time cards and will not manage their absences in the system. They're the only ample class that will not.
Correct.
Can I just say something to clarify? So our graduate assistants are as they were described by the question, they're not employees, but we do use our payroll system to pay them their stipends.
Yeah, and we will continue to use the payroll system to pay them their stipend, and that's it for the.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. A question from Anna. Does the new system mean that new employees will be able to start on any day in the pay period and not have to start at the beginning of a pay period?
Well, no, we're tied to the state payroll, so we can be really creative and innovative and forward-thinking and modern right up until we hit CPB, and then we've got it's the brick wall. So there's a lot about this system that you're going to love, and then there's some things about the system that just kind of are what they are, and we just have to work with central payroll and the state.
Thanks, Juliet. Glenda, another one I'm going to throw to you from Melanie. If you are salaried, do you have to do a timesheet?
You are not. So exempt salaries and faculty, they are not going to complete time cards. Again, it's going to be only student employees, non-exempt regular employees, and non-exempt contractual employees are going to be required to complete time cards. Exempt and faculty will not.
Thank you. Another for either Glenda or Liz. If an employee is operating under an alternative work schedule, 4/10s or 5/4/9, how does this affect the work schedule? Will the days off be automatically recorded? Will time off requests automatically default to the alternative work days versus the normal 8-hour workday?
So as we have it in PeopleSoft, all employees will be assigned a work schedule, right? Everybody will be defaulted to the Monday through Friday 8-hour day, but it depends, right? There's employees in fluctuation time work schedules that we should be able to assign to those employees. So if you have, let's say, a Monday through Thursday 10-hour schedule, if you try to report an absence on Friday, it's going to be saying, okay, this is not your working day. So you're not reporting absences. But let's say I switch, instead of working this week, instead of working on a Friday, I work on a Thursday. So you should be able to report the absence. The absence, again, it's going to generate the absence based on your work schedule, but you can actually modify it. So if you have to report absence in a day that you're not required to work, there's a box in the absence module that it's advanced mode, and I'm getting into the weeds of it, but it's an advanced mode, and you should be able to report the absence on a day that you're scheduled to be off, for example, or report your in and out times in a day that you're off. So it's gonna work kind of the same way that we have right now, because we have employees and fluctuating work schedules, so the system should be able to accommodate those changes as well.
Thanks, Glenda. A couple questions from Charlotte. So exempt faculty do not have to do anything to enter time. Will administrative leave granted by the president be automatically added? What about holidays? If an exempt faculty works a minor holiday, how is that indicated so they can take it later?
So the holidays, as we have them right now, right? You're not required to use them. In a day that there's a campus closure because of a holiday, you can use your holiday, you can use any other type of leave. You're not being forced to use the holiday hours. So that will not change in future state. For the campus closures, they are going to, administrative leave, which in future state are going to be referred as to campus closure. They are going to be a little different. There's going to be some rules in regards to that, and some functionality that the system is providing in regards to that at later time we will provide specific training for that. But we're going to have it the same functionality that we have in PeopleSoft. We're going to have it with QHCM. And again, employees will still have to report those absences. They are not going to be automatically pre-filled for you. So the employees, regardless of the employee class, if you're required to submit an absence, you still will be required to submit the absence in QHCM.
Thanks, Linda. I've got another one for you. Will the system be able to access related policies and procedures for timekeeping and leave usage?
Yes, we are hoping to add all policies in our OGL guide. So we're going to be providing that in all stages of the system to make it more accessible to the end users. So we are hoping to add policies, training materials, and all of that in regards to time card, time and labor, and absence.
Hey, Linda, can I add in there?
Yeah, of course, Solomon.
Yeah, Sarah's got that ability. If I can just share my screen, just if you have it open, you can just show them that. Okay, let me share my screen. I have it open.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the candidate or the employee wants to see what's the leave policy, it kind of shows them, reroutes them to that page. This ability, we have trained Sarah to do that. And if an employee wants to see, okay, what's the diversity policy that the university has? So we are rerouting those kind of information so that the employees don't have to remember where externally it is stored. So the Sarah has the ability to reroute the employee to the proper, even for the pay slips, right? I mean, we don't store it in our database, but it's stored in the state site, right? So if you have to see the pay slips, it redirects them to that external website. So I thought I'll just share that to you guys. So some of the policy stuff, Sarah can read out there.
Thanks, Salman. I'll add that Glenda has been working with a lot of departments and teams to make sure that policies that should impact an employee's ability to submit time. So for example, students not being able to submit more than 20 hours will be baked into the time card submission process. So some of that should be caught right from the beginning as well, which will hopefully make things a bit easier. Okay. Can you talk about employees who take leave without pay and how that will be handled?
So I guess I can speak on the absence part. So when we are talking about long-term leave without pay, there's going to be an accompaniment with a job action, and I will let Carla or Juliet speak over that. But in regards to short-term leave without pay, like unpaid absences, they are going to be reported via the absence module. We have a dedicated code for the unpaid with reason code, so departments are able to report over the reason why an employee is on unpaid status. But for the long term, they are going to be accompanied by a job action, and I will let Carla and Juliet speak over that.
Yeah, so as part of this process, we also did a comprehensive review of all of the action reason codes that we use in the system currently in PeopleSoft to see what modifications had to be made to adapt for HCM. And so all of those sorts of things will be, you'll get that information a combination of ways, either through training, through guided learning, or through ODA. But you will have the information that you need to manage those unique situations.
Thanks, Juliet. There are a couple questions in here about managers who don't technically work for UMB. Will a manager who is a non-UMB employee but supervises a UMB employee have the access to approve time, approve absences, etc.?
So affiliates will still have a role in our system as they do now. So the tool is changing, but we recognize that the relationships have to remain, right? And so currently we have a well-developed system in place to incorporate affiliates and for them to get access that they need. And that will continue with in Quantum as well.
Thanks, Juliet. Glenda, I think this will be a question for you. Who is checking timesheets to see if there was a missed absence?
Line managers and payroll reps. That's the line manager, right? The line manager approved the time cards. So when they are approving the time cards, they have to make sure that all of the absences, if it's a non-exempt, the absences are landing in there. But it's the line manager responsibility, right? To make sure that their absences that their direct reports are reporting, they are being reported within the system. We will have reports, right? That it's going to deliver what absences are pending for approvals, which ones were approved, that they were saved and not submitted. So we can provide those reports to help line managers in taking track of these absences, but ultimately it's the line manager responsibility to check that their direct reports are reporting their absence, right? An employee cannot just simply take off and the line manager not knowing, right? So if your direct report took off, then you have to follow up to make sure that the absence was submitted within the system.
And line managers have the ability to enter absences on behalf of employees too. So if the employee is not entering it, the line manager is more than available to go in there and submit it on their behalf.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Glenda. Another question for you, Glenda. Clinical faculty are not allowed to take significant time off at the end of the calendar year as other employees do. As such, they've been authorized to take some holidays before the normal accrual time. Will the new system be able to accommodate this exception to the norm?
I'm not familiar with that exception because the system only allows in PeopleSoft to go negative 16 hours of holiday. And it's actually not to allow employees to take it back because technical calculations that we need for pay periods that we earn Thanksgiving or 2 holidays in a pay period for the employees to be able to submit it in advance. So an employee should not be using the leave that they don't have, right? But of course, there's things within the department, authorizations, exceptions that happen within the department. Those things are unfortunately are out of the reach of the system, right? The system is configured to not allow negative leave balances for sick, allowing 40 hours of negative leave for annual because of the policy of annual leave advancement. Personal, you cannot go negative. Holiday, you should not go negative, but we allow the 16 again for the technicality of the Thanksgiving, the accrual of the 2 holidays in the pay period. But those exceptions that are handled within the departments, I think they will have to, they will continue doing it, right? But on the system side, we cannot accommodate those things because this is for the policy, the rules for the whole campus, right? And we do not allow negative balances in certain leave plans.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah.
Another question about faculty. If faculty are not logging hours, how will we take vacation or personal hours? How does this affect working over the weekends, for example, when you're at a conference?
So for absences, again, they are not going to be reported in the time card. They are going to be reported within the absence module. Faculty will require to submit the absence. If somebody's submitting on their behalf, that's still allowable. Line managers or the delegates can submit the absence. The delegate within the department can submit the absence on behalf of the faculty. If they are working over the weekend as a salaried exempt employee or faculty employees, if you're working beyond your work schedule, that doesn't imply generating extra pay or reporting the absences. If your schedule is Monday through Friday and you work over the weekend, that doesn't have an impact on the time and labor absence or payroll side for faculty employees. So I'm not quite sure what was the question about if they work on the weekends, how they.
Yeah, they're currently exempt staff and faculty are just recording duty days, which are not hours. We're not tracking hours worked now on our timesheets. We're putting Ds for duty days. And so, none of the difference is that part of it will just go away. And you will now just have to record your absences. But as far as how you work and when you work as an exempt employee or a faculty member, your timesheet never drove your hours worked or your pay. You're just reporting duty days right now.
All right, thank you. One question that just came in and something we should clarify is I think we're saying it a lot. What does line manager mean? Who is the line manager?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, the line manager is the supervisor, is the employee supervisor. That's the new word that we're gonna be, instead of referring to the supervisor or supervisor, it's gonna be the line manager.
There are part of going to a large cloud-based system like Oracle. There's a lot of ability to customize the product to fit what we need in UMB, but then there's some hard-coded parts of the system that we just can't customize, and it's going to require us to use different terminology than we're used to because these terms are just hard-coded throughout the Oracle cloud-based system. And so we're used to the term supervisor as the person who generally signs our approves our timesheets or approves our leave. In Oracle Cloud, it's the line manager, but that's the same relationship. It's the same relationship as the supervisor. Time cards, we're used to referring to what we do as timesheet, but in Oracle Cloud, the terminology is time cards. And so there are some terms that we will just have to adapt to because they're so hard-coded, embedded throughout the Oracle Cloud product. But that's a great question.
Thank you both. Okay, I see a couple questions about leave lost. Will the projection of leave lost at year end still be available?
Unfortunately, as of right now, we don't have that the same way that it's delivered in current state. We don't have it right now. We are trying to develop reports to provide this information, but as of right now, yes, I have to be honest, that functionality we're losing as of right now, but we're working with the reporting team to see if it's a way that we can provide that information via reporting.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got a couple more that we haven't fully touched on yet. I think some of these are still duplicates. For an employee who transfers between units, can the old unit still be able to see the employee's old effort form or payroll report? Right now, once an employee has left, there's no way for us to retrieve the person's previous payroll detail report, which is difficult when doing effort reporting.
Is there anybody from the LD team?
I'm not sure if we have.
We'll take that question back, Allison.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Okay. Then another one for you. Is there a way for a department to have a leave calendar so they can see who is out on leave? Currently, we use a Microsoft Teams calendar to approve leave and see everyone in our department.
Yeah, so we are going to have the absence planner in the absence module. That's going to be a best friends for line managers and coworkers because you're going to be able to see the absence calendar for your team. So you're going to be able to see who's off on which day, if it's overlapping, if it's any conflict on absence request. You can see your team schedule to see when they're off. So that's a really nice feature with the absence planning tool that it's delivered within the absence module.
Thank you. Okay, a question. What happens if I feel like my absence request is unfairly denied?
Liz, you answered that one. ELR.
Thanks, Glenda. Well, you can follow the current process you follow today when you disagree with a manager on a denial of leave. So nothing has changed. You can still follow that process.
Thanks, Liz. Okay, a couple related ones. Will time cards be available 24 days or 24 hours a day? And will absence requests be open for a finite time, like the current timesheet? How will that work?
That's a good question. And I don't know if I know the answer. I don't know if this is a technical question or it's who can help with that.
Yeah, I can take a stab.
Yeah.
An employee will be able to enter time at any time. So anytime the system is up, which should be almost always.
24 hours? Yeah.
Yep, you can enter time whenever. So if it's 3 a.m. and you're just remembering to enter your time card, you can go ahead and do that. And then absence requests, there is a limit as to how far back you can submit them. We'd have to check what that's set at right now. But you can retroactively submit absences. There's just a point at which you can't go further back.
I do have one thing to add to that is Oracle does quarterly updates. There's patching done every quarter. It's well communicated. We post when that's going to happen, but there is often downtime associated with that. So during those windows when the system's down for patching, you wouldn't be able to do that data entry. But again, that's communicated in advance, so you'll know when the system won't be up. And it's usually overnight and it's fairly short duration. So it shouldn't be a big impact, but I just wanted to be clear that it's not that we do have these windows where it won't be available.
Okay.
Okay. who can access timesheet history?
So line managers and payroll reps within the department should be able to access the timesheet history as long as the employee should be able to see all the time cards submitted, the line manager and the payroll reps within the department.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure we don't answer ones we've already answered. Will you still be paid if you do not complete a timesheet?
So for hourly employees, they get paid based on the time card submission and hour reported. So that will remain the same way that it is as of today. And that's for hourly employees. For non-exempt employees, they're still gonna get their biweekly pay on a pay period basis. And when the time card loads, it's gonna pay whatever exceptions come from the time card. And exceptions, I mean shift, overtime, on call, all of those exception time reported codes are going to be paid after the fact. So the same way that payroll is processed in today's world, nothing is changing. It will remain the same in future state.
Thanks, Glenda. And I think we have time for just one or two more. So a question from Charles. I currently download the Excel files using different queries on HRMS to prepare a financial statement. Are the list of queries available in HRMS available on the new Quantum HCM? Do we have Neil? Not sure if we do. I can take a stab at it.
Yeah, no, I can chime in on that. So essentially, yes, yeah, the same sort of functional goal for reporting will be duplicated in QHCM. So being able to track that information, we will have reports that will be available depending upon your level of security and access.
Thanks, Neil. And then just one more before I hand it back over to Jen. This is a specific question, but I think a good question to touch on. Will this new system be integrated with synopses for international scholars and visa-related items? Or just generally speaking, will this be an integrated system? Juliet, maybe you can take.
Yeah, we have a host of integrations. Synopsis is one of them. We've done a comprehensive review of all of the systems that PeopleSoft touches and the other HR systems touch and accounted for those. So the integration effort is significant, and Synopsis is part of that.
Thanks, Juliet. Okay, I think that's good for the Q&A. Thank you to everyone for your great questions. I'm glad we got to have some good conversation. With that, I'll hand it back to Jen.
Actually, I can wrap up for us. Thank you, Jen, for putting the slide back up. We wanted to give you a high-level timeline of future activities that you'll have the opportunity to engage in before we go live in the spring. We're holding a user fair on November 11th for all UMB employees to come and see live demonstrations of the new HR and payroll system, talk to our QHCM project team, and get more of your questions answered and gather other important information about the training timeline. The training is starting early next year, so something to look forward to. And then I just wanted to thank you on behalf of me and the project team. Thank you all for coming and engaging with us today. We're very excited about the system and looking forward to showing you more as the days go on. So thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you in November. It'll be over at the Elm Ballroom, and it'll be more information coming your way, but we'll be in both the Elm Ballrooms for the user fair from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for being here. We'll send out the recording, the Q&As, and a follow-up email shortly to you all. So thank you very much. Have a good day.